time of year, as the leaves transform into a palette of reds, greens, and yellows here in upstate New York, my thoughts turn to 2022 and beyond. It's planning time. By now, you've thought about what you and your team have accomplished this year. The challenge that was 2020 is largely behind you, and life has returned to at least a modicum of normal. And with this year now 75% behind you, you've started to consider your next year's goals, right? One of the observations that I've made over my now 50 years in eye care is that the majority of optometrists are challenged to separate tactics from strategy and leadership from management. In simple terms, strategy is the what of business. What are you trying to accomplish? Tactics, on the other hand, are the how. How are you going to deliver on your what? On a similar vein, leadership is also the what. Leaders are charged with doing the right things, strategy, while managers do things right, tactics. The task of the leader is to set the course for the business and establish the business's values, the guiding lights for your team to follow. The task of managers is to execute on the leader's vision. In so many optometry practices, however, the practice owner spends way too much time on management and not enough time on leadership. As a result, the practice has few goals and little against which to be held accountable. As the saying goes, if you don't have a destination in mind, any road will get you there. There's an old story that I often use to demonstrate the difference between tactical and strategic thinking. 150 years ago, there was a fellow in the Midwest, we'll call him Jake, who made oak buckets. Jake's company made the best oak buckets in the world. But come the Industrial Revolution, Jake's business started to taper off. It seemed that people weren't buying what he had to sell. So being the astute businessman that he was, he called in a consultant. We'll call her Alice. After a few days of investigation, speaking with management, employees, and customers, Alice came to Jake with what Jake initially thought to be a very strange question. "What business are you in?" asked Alice. Jake responded immediately and with passion. "I'm in the business of making oak buckets," he said. "I make the best darn oak buckets in the world." Alice pondered Jake's response for a minute. Then, shaking her head, she responded, "I'm afraid that you don't know what business you're in. You're not in the business of making oak buckets. That's old technology that's being replaced by pipes. You're really in the business of transporting liquids." Think about Alice's comment for a moment. Now think about your own business. What business are you really in? Your immediate response may be, "I'm an optometrist, silly," or you might even say, "I'm in the business of helping people see." But I challenge you to explore this question more deeply. Indeed, perhaps it's a great question for a brainstorming session at your next staff meeting. Your ultimate answer should be something deeper, something more strategic. What thinking might better guide your future? With competition escalating and multiple means by which your patients can secure services, it's likely time to get out of the oak bucket business. So this week, I leave you with this very strategic question. What business are you in?